You're easily manipulated because you lack awareness. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Stephanie J. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I help you become the best possible version of yourself, whatever that looks like to you. We are just going to get right into it. You keep getting manipulated because you are not self-aware. For you to be manipulated, you have to be easily influenced. You are easily influenced when you lack knowledge on a particular subject. In this case, you are that subject. If you frequently find yourself in situations thinking, how did I get here? Or what am I doing? Or why am I doing this? You are easy to manipulate. And the reason you're easy to manipulate is because you are unsure of who you are and what you stand for. When you know everything about yourself, the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, it is very hard for people to manipulate you. Manipulators know what they're doing. They know that they want to manipulate you and what it is that they want from you. And they know that they are going to try to get into your head and twist things around to get what it is that they want from you. And the only way for that to not happen is for you to know and be aware of what it is that you're going on. Not only be aware of who you are, but be aware of the fact that there are manipulators out there, the fact that there are gaslighters out there, the fact that there are people out there who is going to try to get in your head and use you for whatever it is that they want to use you for. But when you know who you are, it is very hard for people to get into your head and try to convince you otherwise. When you're learning a subject in school, when you're in school and you're learning a specific topic and someone tries to tell you something about the topic that you just learned that you're confident in, you will not be easily swayed because you are confident in what you are talking about. You can easily tell that person that what they are saying is untrue, or just let them talk because you know what the truth is. Same thing when it comes to you. When it comes to you as a person, nobody is able to tell you anything when you know who you are. It is when you don't know who you are, people will be able to get in your head and twist things around and make you think otherwise about yourself. And that is why I always say it is important to get to know yourself, because when you know yourself, there are so many things that are beneficial when it comes to knowing yourself. But one of the top things I would say when you know yourself is that you are not easily manipulated. And trust me, especially for women, there are people out there who will try to manipulate you and influence you into thinking otherwise about yourself, and it could be for a plethora of reasons. You just have to be not only self-aware, but you have to be aware of everything that is going on around you, but especially what is going on in here. And if you feel like you're not there yet, I 100% think it is okay to isolate yourself until you get to a point where you feel like you know yourself enough to not be easily influenced by other people about who you are. If I've learned anything in my many years of living, it is that there are people out there, especially people who are close to you, people who are supposed to love you, who will try to tell you who you are. And if you are not certain in who you are, you will believe them. Whether they are praises or criticism, you should already know those things about you. If someone is praising me about XY, more than likely, I already knew that about myself. If someone is criticizing me about XYZ, I already knew that about myself. And another thing is, you also have to understand that some people who are criticizing you, some of them criticize you in order to hurt you. When you know with absolute certain who you are, criticisms do not hurt. And you also don't take them personal because you already know this about yourself. And then also when someone is criticizing you and they say something out of the norm, you also don't take that personally. Now, what I'm not saying is to disregard what people are saying about you, because there may be truth to that. Whether it is a praise or whether it is criticism, there may be truth, some truth to what they are saying. But what I'm saying is to take what other people are saying with a grain of salt. What you can do is you make a note of what people are saying about you, and then at a later time, you do some introspection. The introspection is to see if what that person or persons said, if there is any truth to what they said. And another thing, if it is multiple people who are not connected saying these things about you, you have to not only assess yourself, but you also have to assess the situation. Why is that person saying these things about you? Whether it is a praise or criticism, why is it being said? And you also have to take account of the type of relationship that you have with that person. Is this someone close to you? Is this someone you speak with every day? Is this someone who doesn't really know who you are? There are a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to that. That is why it is important to do introspection, so that you can really understand who you are. There are some things that are said to you meant to criticize you and humble you and bring you down. But if you already know those things about you, it's gonna do nothing. It's not going to do anything. And as a matter of fact, when people do say those things about you, oh, you're this or you're that, you can say, I know that. That is part of who I am. Because at the end of the day, number one, nobody's perfect. Nobody has a perfect track record. Nobody. I know I'm this way. I'm very much aware that I'm this way. Now what? And number two, if this is something about yourself that you don't like, you can actively work on changing it or flipping it to work for you in your life and help you achieve your goals. For example, one thing that a lot of people say about me is that I'm stubborn. Stubborn is not as negative as some people make it seem that it is, or as negative as the people who have told me that I'm stubborn is making it seem to be. Because yes, stubborn means that once I make up my mind on something, I'm set on it. That's it. And although that can be a bad thing, it can also be a good thing. And I make it work for me. And a lot of times what I'll typically do is when I am having a disagreement with someone and they say, oh my gosh, you're so stubborn. I'll typically think, I'll take a moment and I'll think, am I being stubborn about this thing because I don't want to change my views about what it is that we're talking about? Or am I actually being closed-minded about this thing in spite of their well put together argument? Sometimes, yes, I am being stubborn in my perception. Sometimes it is that the other person does have a good point and I refuse to change my point of view. But then there are other times where it's just, this is just what I believe. The minute you give a person the inkling that you will change your mind about those things, what makes you you is the minute they realize that they can manipulate you. I also want to throw this out there. There's a book by Robert Greene, Red and Blue. People who have told me that they have read the book, I become super aware of them and what they say to me, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. The best way for you to not be so easily influenced and not be manipulated is to be sure of who you are. Absolutely know who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what your morals are, what type of life you want to live, what your future looks like, all of the above. You have to be 100% sure in that. Now, will there be little changes here and there as you evolve and grow and experience as a person? Yes, but let that be your changes that you make because you want to make those changes, because you are viewing things a little bit differently. Don't let that be because someone came into your life and told you it would be better if I think this would. No. Be 1,000% sure in who you are how you carry yourself, what your values are, what your morals are, what you want out of this life, so that you can get there and you don't let anyone get in your head about any of those things. I also want to add that when you are sure of yourself, there are going to be times where people do not like you because you're not agreeable. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with people not liking you, because not everyone is going to like you, and that is okay. It is much better that you like who you are than for other people to like who you are, because you're the one who have to live with yourself. You're the one who has to live with your thoughts. If you don't like who you are, if you don't like the type of person you are becoming, if you don't like the environment that you are creating for yourself, you have to live with that. Make sure you are becoming a person that you like and love. Obviously, love yourself regardless, but be a person that you like. Don't allow other people to tell you who you should be, tell you what you should like, tell you what you should do. Now, if you're asking for advice, that's different. You can ask people for advice about something that you are uncertain of. However, make sure you are asking people who have your best interests at heart. I hate to sound cliche. The best person to get advice from about you and your life is you. Listening to your own intuition. Get advice from yourself. Get advice from your higher self. When you feel like you're in a pickle, really listen to yourself. Or if you'd rather pray to God. Ask for help from your angels, because sometimes you really don't know who is envious of you, who is jealous of you, who doesn't want to see you thrive. And of course discernment is a thing, but sometimes we're humans. We're flawed. The best person to get advice from is going to be you or God. Because ultimately, you know the answer already. You already know. You just don't listen to yourself enough. You don't trust yourself enough, but you already know the answer. And if you really feel like you don't, pray. Talk to God. You'll get your answer then. And at least you can be sure that the answer that you are getting for the issue that you have is coming from a good place. There are too many people out there who don't actually have your best interests at heart. And there are a lot of people out there who want to use you for their benefit. But at the same time, we as humans need connection. We need each other. We need people. Not only do you have to move with discernment, but you also have to know who you are, the type of impact you want to make in this world, where you want to go. You have to know everything about you. Try to know everything about you. If you don't study you, someone else is going to study you and use you against you. And I don't want you to ever think, oh, I'm not that special. No one is really going to take time out of their day to study me. And do you know how many people out there who are manipulators? Do you know how many people out there who are abusers, narcissists? They are going to study and manipulate whoever allows them to. They are going to study and abuse whoever allows them to. Come on. You need to make sure that you're not one of them. And the way to make sure that you're not one of them is to already know who you are. And not only know who you are, but also understand that these types of people exist in the world, and that you can run across one at any time. Those types of people are not specific to just romantic relationships. They can be romantic relationships, they can be a friendship, they can be family, they can be any type of acquaintances, they can be any types of relationships. You just have to be aware enough to catch it as soon as you see it, and nip it in the bud, whether that's cutting them off or setting boundaries. I will forever talk about how important it is to know who you are, especially as a woman. It is imperative to know and understand who you are, know the ins and outs about you, know your strengths and weaknesses, know what it is that you want from your life, know where it is that you want to go, because not only will that help you achieve your goals, but it will also help you navigate through the world of narcissists and manipulators and gaslighters, all of the above. And also, when you know who you are, it is much easier for you to be able to regulate your emotions and keep them in check. That is all that I have for you guys today. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comments, share, whatever it is that you want to do. But yes, I really do hope that you found this video helpful. I do enjoy making these videos because I do feel like it is helping, even if it's only helping one person, it's helping somebody out there. Come back for the next one.